Hey guys, it's Zach again, back with another video. So today I just want to answer a question I got on YouTube, and then I think what we'll do today is I'm just thinking, let's make a little track in Logic, maybe using some of the new features. Just a simple thing, just to kind of show people how that can be done. So I got a question from Godson on my last video on live loops, asking about Contact and asking if we are able to load third-party libraries into Contact. And the answer is yes and no. So I have not really done a lot of experimentation with Contact outside of complete control as of yet, but I will do some research into that and maybe we can come up with a solution. But as of right now, the way that I can think of to do this would be to copy, if you have complete control, you need to copy the library. If you download a library from, say, let's say like you get like a Spitfire library, although those have NKS for complete control, but if it didn't, I believe what you would do, and I did get this to work before, although it was a little finicky, would be to just copy the library folder to your user content folder, and that will change depending on what operating system you have. So like on Mac, it's in the documents folder. I don't know where it is on Windows. I do not use Windows, so I really can't be of help there, unfortunately. But I know on Mac, it's in the documents folder, and then you go to the native instruments folder. And then there's a user content folder. And if you just copy the library to there, then when you open complete control, you have to open it in standalone mode so that it can rescan. Although I believe it can now do that in the plugin as well. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but I believe that's a possibility now. But if you open it in standalone, this is the way I was able to do it, it will rescan, and then you can go into your DAWs like Logic or GarageBand or whatever, and it will show up. Now, the only thing I found from the two libraries that I tried with this were it asked for the folder to the presets. And the way I was able to get that to work was to just do VO shift space to click the mouse. And for some reason it was placed on the browse button, and then I could just browse to that folder that I copied, and then it was fine. Although I remember needing to do that for each preset, which was kind of a pain. I think there's a better way to do it. There is a way to rebuild the library in the Contact standalone application, but that's not accessible without some third-party scripts, which I don't have. So I'll do some more research into it, and I'll make a follow-up video on that in the next couple days, because I know that's not an ideal solution, but this is just the way I was able to get it to work. But I will do some more research on that and follow up with everyone in the next few days or so. So let's go over to Logic, and let's just make a beat. All right, let's make a song in Logic. Okay, so we've got
tracks.
A project pulled up. It's empty right now. I have an Alchemy instance in here that has this cool kind of techno arpeggio thing. I'm just going to play with my musical typing keyboard. This is one of the new sounds in Logic 10.5. So why don't we start with that? Let's set the key of our song, because I think we can use some loops in here, and if we set the key, they will match to the key. So let's do A minor.
Alright. Library.
Cool. I'm going to hide the library. Whoops. Let's disable musical typing first.
Tracks.
And to do that, I press Command K, and I'm going to open it up again. Cool. So, let's turn the metronome on. I'm going to hit K to do that. I disabled musical typing again.
Metronome on.
And let's turn on the cycle mode.
Cycle mode on.
With C. Remember from yesterday? From our last video? So, C turns cycle mode on and off. And what cycle mode is basically, it's like a loop recorder. So essentially what it's going to do is, you can change this, but by default, it will record 4 bars at a time. So starting from bar 1, going to bar 5, and then it will loop back around again. And this is really useful for doing things like drums, because you're able to, if you need to, you can record one part of the kit in at a time. So say you have the kick, and then you have the snare, and then you have the claps, and then you have, all that. And you can record them in one at a time, so you can make sure that you get a perfect take. And if you mess up on one, there are a few things you can do, but the way I do it is just stop, Command Z, record again, and you can start back with just that part. And we'll try that in a little bit. But for this, I have an arpeggio here.
Musical metronome off.
Whoops. There we go. Okay. So we have this. So what I'm going to do is the metronome is on.
4 beats.
Whoops. No, it's not anymore.
Now
it is. Cool.
4 beats, 1 bar. 4 beats.
There you go.
1.
And also, you may be able to tell, but when I hit the space bar, if I hit space and then stop it, it actually jumps back to the beginning. And that's because cycle is on. So when you hit stop, it doesn't pause. Or actually, sorry, no, it does pause, but then when you hit play again, it goes back to the start of the cycle region, which is pretty cool. So let's hit R now and just record a little 4-bar arpeggio thing. There you go.
1.
Now I'm going to hit stop, and let's hope that that captured.
4 beats.
Okay,
1.
it did not capture my first note, so what I'll do is I'm going to undo that.
Undo. 4 beats.
Just make sure it's undid. Is that a word?
1.
There you go. I'll try it again. There you go.
1.
Okay, kind of got it.
4.
There you go.
2 bar.
Cool. So that's recorded now. Now I'm going to quantize that.
Podcast column.
Oops, let's get out of this
Window.
musical typing window.
Untitled. Inspector. Step object.
All right.
Outreach
Go
object.
in here.
Expand.
I'm going into the region inspector.
Read object table.
This is one way you can quantize notes. Basically, this is going to quantize per region. So if you have multiple regions on the same track, which we will in a little bit if we're going to extend the song, then you will have multiple regions and you can quantize them each differently, which is really cool.
Unchecked loop.
So I'm in a table now, and don't worry, I'm still planning on doing like a getting started with Logic course, so I'll go a lot more in depth there. But basically, there's a table here with a ton of different parameters, and they change depending on what track you've got selected. So if you have an audio track, you'll see different things in here.
Quantize. Pop-up button.
And
off. Pop-up.
There are 2 tables. This one I'm looking at right now deals with the region. But there's one earlier on, which we won't look at today, but we'll look at in another video, that just deals with tracks. So think of it like this. A track is like a collection of regions, so think of it like a folder on your computer, and then a region is like a file in that folder, right? So you have one table to deal with the folder, and then you've got another table to deal with the files in that folder, which is pretty cool.
Menu 1,
So
1/4.
let's just quantize this to
1
quarter notes, and let's see what that sounds like.
4.
There, now it's perfectly on beat. It's perfect. It's great. So there you go. Now, this sound is cool and all, but let's try to kind of change it a little bit. I'm going to hide the musical typing, and I'm going to turn the metronome off. I'm going to use something called the transform pad, which is this parameter in Alchemy. Let me stop this for a second. So the transform pad is a parameter in Alchemy. It's like an XY pad, and it changes various aspects of the sound depending on what patch you have selected in Alchemy, and they change for each one. Now, the transform pad isn't really that accessible, but there's a little hack you can use. If you have a trackpad or a mouse, which virtually all Macs do, unless you use your Mac without a mouse, which you can do, but I don't for this part of this reason. I have a trackpad over here. And this trackpad is going to allow me to move the transform pad just like a sighted person would. And I can either move it to one position and leave it, or I can automate it. So when I record, I can move my finger on the trackpad and it will move the transform pad, and then that data will be recorded, and then it will make the sound evolve over time. So let's just try the transform pad on this sound and see what it sounds like. So I'm going to open up Smart Controls, which is where the transform pad is, with the letter B.
Smart controls.
There we
group.
go. So this is one of the ways you can access the transform pad. I'm going to go in here.
In smart controls group. 2 items. Smart
We have
controls.
two groups here. I'm going to go to the second one.
Smart controls layout area.
There you go. Interact with this layout area here.
In smart 23%. Delay.
And then we have 4 parameters. We have
Transform pad. Smart morph.
this transform pad. It's supposed to be transform pad X, but VoiceOver is not pronouncing it right.
23%. Delay.
We have a delay slider.
Transform pad X. Smart morph X.
Or I'm sorry, the first one was transform pad Y. This one is X.
1%. Reverb.
Then you got some reverb. I don't know why it's at 1%, not 0, but okay.
1%.
So you have 4 parameters in this kind of tab here.
Transform pad. Smart morph.
I'm gonna go to this first one and I'm gonna move the mouse, I'm gonna move the mouse to where the VoiceOver cursor is. And to do that, I'm gonna press Control, Option, Command, and then the F5 key.
Transform pad. Smart morph.
Now the mouse is positioned on the Y transform pad. But when you click and drag, you can move left and right and up and down, and it will affect the X and Y axes the same way, just like a sighted person would do. So check it out. I'm going to hit space to play this thing. And now we're going to try that. Let's see how the sound changes. I'm going to click and hold my finger on the trackpad, and then I'm going to move it around. Let's see what happens. There you go, see? So let's find something we like. Kind of like that. Let me, I'm gonna root the mouse again. Sometimes it will get a little funky and get lost on you. Yeah. Kind of like that. But you know what? I kind of want to vary this over time. So let's do this. I'm gonna turn cycle off for a second.
Cycle mode off.
Now this region is selected right now. So this 4-bar region that we recorded is selected. If I play it from the top, it will end after 4 bars. Check it out.
4.
See, it stops. We want it to continue for another 4 bars. So while it's playing, you can do this while it's playing if you want, or you can do it while it's stopped. I'm gonna press Command R. So I'm gonna start back from here.
1.
Now I'm gonna press Command R, and what that does is repeats the region that's selected. It just makes a copy of it, like this. See? So now we have 2 regions. There you go. Now, actually, probably a better solution would be, let's delete this second one and go back to the first one again.
9 bars. 1 bar.
And also, to select regions, you can do it a few different ways, but the way I like to do it sometimes is just press the right arrow with Quick Nav turned off. VoiceOver doesn't give any feedback right now. Maybe that'll change in the future, but the way you can tell is if you press Shift Space, it will play the region you have selected.
40. 1 bar.
It will play from the region you have selected. So it won't just play that region, it'll play everything, but it will start from the region that's selected.
1 bar.
So that's what we just did. So I'm gonna actually hit L,
Loop on.
and now it's gonna loop it until the song ends. So what that's going to allow us to do now is do all our fun tricks on the transform pad, but it's going to record all that data across everything. So then when we actually like repeat this region, or if we do anything like that, it will stick, essentially. Basically I think is what will happen. Let's try it and see.
1 bar. 1.
All right, so I'm going to now, actually, you know what? Let's not do it this way.
Loop off.
I will do the repeated regions way, because then actually what I can do is I can ensure that when I repeat this region, I'm gonna do that right now. So we're back at 8 bars. I'm gonna keep it at 8. Let's have like an 8-bar intro, right?
Out.
Now, we have 2 regions on the track. We have one here.
4 beats.
That's the first one. And then if I hit the right arrow again, and I hit Shift Space,
4 bars.
that's the second one. Let's say we wanted this to be one big region, okay?
Track.
Let's do that.
Tracks.
I'm going to go
Tracks.
to my track header.
Hit track 1. Object in motion. Group.
And when I select a track, all of the regions on that track become selected. So what I can do now, and also to ensure that, you can't hit Command A because there's only one track selected. If you had a ton of tracks in a project, that's not the best way to do things because it would select every single track. So for today, because we only have one track, I'm going to just do Command A.
Select all.
Just to make sure. And then I'm going to hit Command J.
Join regions nodes.
And guess what? All the regions now are joined together as one big thing. So instead of a 4-bar region, we now have an 8-bar region. Here, check it out.
140.
There you go. See? It loops. And if I hit the right arrow,
Logic.
we're not selected on anything.
40.
There you go.
1.
Now if I do it again, guess what?
Bars.
We only have one region selected.
40.
Or one region on the track. See?
1.
So it's an 8-bar region now.
Track.
Now we can repeat this 8-bar region for another time like this. There you go. And I'm gonna hit left arrow to go back to the first one, because when you repeat a region, it automatically selects the repeated region. There we go.
40.
Now we're back
1.
at the top. So now,
Smart.
let's go back in here, and finally, after that very long-winded explanation, let's record some transform pad movements in here, okay?
1.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm now going to hit R, and I'm going to make sure that the mouse is rooted to the voiceover cursor, and then I'm going to just move around on the trackpad and have some fun and see what comes out. All right, let's just have some fun.
Track.
There you go, see?
1.
And now if we stop it and hit play,
4.
it's moving all on its own, see? There you go. So now we have a cool kind of synth thing that sort of evolves for the intro, then kind of goes into a steady thing for, I guess, the chorus or whatever that would be called, the drop, maybe. So there you go. Now, why don't we add some more elements to this, okay? Let's add another synth part, why not?
Number.
So what I'll do, I'm gonna make a new track, and to do that, I press Command Option N, and I am on the software instrument track already, so I'm gonna hit return.
Track.
And because of the way I have Logic set up, it's loading Alchemy right now by default. That's the synth that's loading.
Library.
Let's stick with that for now, because I'm going to use another arpeggiated sound in Alchemy.
Inlet search set library browser.
Okay?
Inlet
I'm going to
basic.
go into the library, and
Oblique structures.
the pack I'm using is called Oblique Structures. That's a new pack in 10.5 that came out.
Arpeggiated.
They only have one arpeggiated sound for some reason, but they have a lot of others
Bit brass.
in
Mallets.
here. So why don't we try
Distant
some
bells.
mallets? Let's see what this sounds like.
Metronome. Mute.
I don't know about that one. Let's go back here.
Distant ethereal bells.
Interesting.
Metallic dreams. Weighted pluck.
Interesting.
Not rhythmic. Soundscape.
So I'm
Rhythmic.
kind of about
Aquatic.
trying to find something that'll work. Ooh. That could work. I'm just holding down one note and seeing some fun stuff. I think doing this with the transform pad could be very interesting. So let's see what the chords are for this song.
4.
Okay, so we can do something like
1 bar 1.
let's try that.
40.
Yeah, that could kind of work. It doesn't fit exactly, but I think it'll be okay. So
Cycle mode
I'll
on.
turn cycle on again, because we only need to have a 4-bar section.
Metronome on.
Let's have the metronome, just to help with a little timing, although we'll quantize after. Let's try it. There you go. Let's quantize that to make it sound perfect.
Control.
Okay, open the inspector.
Track. Smart.
Oops, it was already open.
Track. Mix.
That's another thing I would like to
Mixer.
see changed.
Out. In tracks.
Would be
mixer layout.
oops. So I don't think this actually selected
Tracks.
the track or the region rather.
Oh,
yes, it did. There we go.
Table.
Another thing I would like to see changed would
1/1 note.
definitely be for voiceover to give a few more announcements, especially when things are being shown or hidden. They are working on that. That'd be great to see. So let's see what that sounds like.
40. Measure.
There you go. Cool.
Cycle mode off.
So I just turned cycle off again. Let's do our old trick of repeating the region again. Alrighty. Cool.
Track.
So let's
Track.
do the same
Track
deal.
2.
Join these.
Join.
You may not have to do this, but I'm not totally experienced with automation yet, so I'm not 100% sure.
Track 2.
This is just what I do to stay safe. And then I'm going to hit Command R again to repeat it again. There we go.
What?
All right, so let's go back to the first one.
40.
Alrighty.
What?
So let's try the transform pad here and see what it does.
Smart. 8 trans.
It's kind of
What?
same deal, you know by now.
Trans.
We went over this very in depth a few minutes ago. So let's see what this will do.
4.
Okay, cool. So it's doing some interesting. Nice. Okay, that could be fun.
What?
So let's try it.
Track.
There you go.
What?
So let's solo
Talk.
the bass with, or the rhythm kind of thing with S,
What?
and let's listen to it.
4.
Interesting. I don't know if it
18%.
actually changed.
One.
Let's do
40.
it again.
0%.
I'm monitoring the sliders here.
18%.
Oh yeah, it's changing.
80%.
Okay, it's just a little subtle. Cool though, right?
Top.
There you go.
Up.
Very awesome. Okay, I think this needs a drum beat now. I think this needs some drums. So let's make a new instrument again, but this time
Number.
I will select
Guitar.
in the details area here.
Album. Pop.
I'm gonna just select
Empty.
to make a default patch,
Default.
which by default,
Library. Classic. Mute.
just electric piano. But we want some drums. So to do that, let's go
Search sounds.
into the electronic drum kits.
After party.
There we go.
Analog.
And let's find something.
Atlanta.
There are a lot
pieces.
of drum kits, so
Warm
we
breeze.
won't go through everything. I'm gonna
Vintage
just try and
cinema.
find something real quickly.
Video star.
A lot of these are for hip hop,
Twilight Drive.
which is cool because
Trapdoor.
the new update
Tough Kit.
had a massive hip hop pack. This could work. Yeah, I like that. Let's give that a shot.
Up.
So let's make
Cycle mode on.
another cycle region here,
Mute.
or a cycle
One.
kind of thing. And I'll show you now that whole thing with recording drums on separate tracks like I talked about. Check this out. So right now I'm recording the kick. I'm going to do the claps. And now let's do some hi-hats. There you go. So they're very out of time. We will fix it right now. Don't worry. Let's try and do
Tough
that.
Kit. Inspect it. Region. Tough Kit. Take off. Quam off. 1/8 note.
All right.
40.
There you go.
Toggle.
There you go. So let's modify this drum kit a little bit.
Tracks. Smart.
I'm gonna go back into smart controls again.
Check 50 per high tone.
And
80%.
let's see.
30. 60.
Yeah, let's make it
0%. Drive.
a bit brighter.
20.
Turn the drive up a little.
30. Drive bypass. Unchecked. Check.
Yeah.
0%. Compressor.
Yeah, we need to compress it as well.
Compressed. Check.
There we go.
50%. Low tone. Top.
Nice.
Loop home.
I'm just gonna loop this out.
Cycle mode off.
Cool.
Set.
So this is a little bit bare bones still. Let's go into some Apple loops and add a few things.
Show high loop. Loop all pack. Chromium.
I'm
Deep
gonna
house.
go to the Oblique Structures
Oblique?
loop library
Oblique?
because this Alchemy pack, or the
400.
sound pack, has some Alchemy presets, and then they have some loop content as well.
Loop.
And I'm just going to
Horizontal.
go into my search field
Scale. Panic. Sig. Panic. Search loop.
in the Apple Loops browser. I'm gonna type Topper.
T. Up. It.
Because that will find
87.
a ton of stuff with
Loop.
Topper in the name, which has, a ton of like high-end elements, some percussion stuff that might be cool to add in.
In
So let's
type
interact
name.
with this table and let's hit VO space on this first loop and see what happens. Interesting. Okay.
Artificial mind topper.
Let's find something kind of funky.
Boom.
Interesting.
Calculated.
That may be cool. Let's try that. Let's see what that sounds like in the project. You actually don't even need to copy it in if you don't want to. If you just want to see what different loops sound like, let's try this. I'm going to hit space.
40.
Oh, let me turn the click off.
Metronome off.
Okay, I'm going to hit space, and then when I do that, I'm going to start browsing through loops with the... You can use the VO up and down to browse through, but what I like to do is use the arrow keys, because what that will do is it will play them immediately, so I don't have to do VO space each time, and then eventually it will move the voiceover cursor, if you do it a few times, to the proper loop. And what it's going to do is it's going to play in sync with the project. So you can figure out which loop you want even before you drag it in. There's no trial and error. You just kind of go through till you find something that fits. So let's try that. I love this about Logic.
40. Calculated.
So I did it via space to start it, to get it going. And now I can hit down arrow.
Chaotic flow topper.
Okay, it worked that time. So now it's moving through and it's playing in sync with the song.
Classic open HH topper. Climbing higher topper. Cold fusion topper. Cosmic beams topper 01.
So let's find something that'll work.
Crystal Zeppelin topper.
Okay.
Dark washer topper.
Yeah, I like this one.
Dark.
Let's give this a try. So I'm going to hit Command C to copy it.
What?
I'm going to go to the start and hit Command V to paste. And I'm going to hit L,
Loop on.
and that will loop it for the whole thing.
40.
Here we go. That's subtle. Let's find something else to add in.
Dark hammer topper. Oh, dark.
Something kind of different.
Dark.
Yeah, that could be nice.
Dark.
Let's add that in maybe at bar 9 to
What?
build some tension
9.
a little bit.
Loop. 8 bar.
There we go.
What?
So we have this kind of groove going now. And now you may be wondering, okay, so that's cool, but it's not really a song right now. It's more of like a loop. It's like a beat. It's not really, you're not, building anything. Well, that's where now we can start doing arranging. And there are a few things you can do. You can use live loops, which I'm not going to do today just because I made this song kind of from scratch. And if I were to use live loops, what I would have to do would be to spend time copying all the different parts into each cell, which is fun, but it can be time consuming, especially if you have a lot of tracks. There may be an easier way to do it, I'm not sure, but for right now, that's how I found to do it. So instead, let's do it like this. Because these are all just 4 or 8 bar or 16 bar loops, it's going to be very easy to kind of arrange this into a song, and then you can, sketch it out even more. So check this out. I'm going to hide the loops browser now because I think we have enough from there for right now. We may add some more in later though.
Tracks.
And now what I'm going to do
Tracks ahead.
is
Track 1. Object in motion.
let's start with this arpeggio. Okay, so I'm going to hit Command J to join these regions together again.
What?
And I'm going to just solo it for now.
4.
So you see right now. Actually, sorry, I'm not going to join these.
Undo.
Not yet. Okay.
4.
So let's listen to it. So I think that could be a cool like intro type deal, right? And then when it repeats again,
40.
so I'm gonna go to the second one.
8 bar.
There we go. That could be more of like a chorus type deal, okay? So we have this going. And then let's repeat it one more time.
40.
There we go, I just hit Command R again. There we go, so it's repeating again. And let's just say here we have like a little breakdown section. So kind of like some beats maybe. And then, you know, for like 4 bars it builds. So what we'll do.
20. 25 bars.
So bar 25, it stops.
25. 20.
And then
29.
at bar 29, it repeats again. So I'm going to hit copy.
Copy.
And then I'm going to hit paste. And that will go to bar 29.
30.
Just like that. And what I'll do is I'll just repeat it one more time. So we have 16 bars. There we go. So we have a little mini song here.
Track 2, aquatic pulsations.
So now all that's left to do is do that with the rest of the tracks. Unfortunately, there isn't really an easy way for us as voiceover users to arrange a song in Logic efficiently, which is kind of one of my gripes with it. There are a few, but that's one of them, is that it's kind of difficult if you're working in this way and you're making a song with like loops and samples. It's a lot more time consuming than it might be for a sighted person who can use something called arrangement markers to kind of sketch out their song that way. So you can kind of tell Logic, okay, so this is a verse, this is a chorus, this is a bridge, this is an intro, this is an ending, this is the second verse, and then you can move them around to try out different ideas. Live Loops makes it a little easier, but it's still time consuming because you have to set up all of the tracks on those cells, which, I mean, you can get pretty fast at it, but it is still some work to do. But I think arrangement markers are actually on the roadmap for becoming accessible soon from what I've seen on the AppleVis thread that I linked to a few weeks back when I was first reviewing 10.5. So hopefully that will be fixed at some point in the future. So right now what we'll do is we have...
Toggle channel. 8 bars.
There we go. So I'm going to do kind of the same deal. So let's see. I'm going to repeat this one again. And let's go back to
20.
25.
25.
And same kind of deal. So I'll copy this next
Copy.
one.
20.
Paste it here. There we go.
30.
Repeat. Done.
30.
You can see it gets pretty fast.
Track 3, top kit group.
Okay, same with this kit. So for this kit, I want it to come in maybe at like bar 9, okay?
9.
There.
8, 7.
And to do that, so I moved the playhead to bar 9 with shift period, which actually moves in 8 bar increments. And then, this is a cool trick someone taught me. I can press the semicolon key, which is right next to the L on the keyboard. You press semicolon, and that moves your the region to where the playhead is located. So you don't have to do a ton of nudging and moving around. It's really time consuming. This is much faster. I love this key command. So if I now hit shift space to play from bar 9 with that region.
8 bar. 40.
Oops, there we go. It's solo. It wasn't solo. Now it is. Here we go. See? So that's going. So what I'm going to do,
Loop off.
I'm not going to loop it, I'm just going to repeat it until we get to that break section. And what we'll do then is we'll kind of switch the beat up there. So everything stops. Kind of, I'm thinking like a build up or something here. And then
20.
start it again, but maybe we'll add some more elements. So I'm gonna hit
Copy.
Command C, Command V, to
Paste.
copy the last region we had, and there we go.
28. 30.
Let's just repeat it till the end.
36 bars, 1 beat, 1. 37. 4.
So what I'm doing
40s.
is I'm just hitting period and comma to kind of see where the region starts and ends. Although you can also do this. If I press Control Function, the key right to the left of Control, and then left arrow,
41 bars, 1 beat.
it moves to the beginning of the current region. If you do Control Function and the right arrow,
45 bars, 1
it
beat.
moves to the end. So that's another way you can tell. And then you can move the playhead back a little bit.
40.
And you can see it ends exactly where we want it to end. So perfect, we got that. Awesome.
Toggle channel strip solo.
I'm gonna now unsolo all these because we can take care of the rest without needing to have all these solo.
Track 25. Dark Crusher Topper.
There we go. So we'll just do that with the same
Loop off.
loop here. So I'm gonna
What?
move that.
Not
I'm
7.
gonna move that to 17. Just build some more tension. So with semicolon again.
16.
Repeat it.
9.
Let's do our trick with Control Function right arrow.
33 bars, 1.
Okay, so that went a bit too far actually. So what I'll do is I'll delete this last one. I'm
Logic.
gonna hit left arrow to move to the last region.
29 bars, 1.
There we go. I'm gonna delete it
25.
one more time. Perfect.
17. 21 bar.
Perfect. I'm gonna hit Command C.
Copy.
And you see, I don't even need to play it. I can kind of just go by
25.
where the bars
28
are
bar.
located, because I can kind of tell based on now, that I've had a little more experience with
Paste.
where all the different bars in the song are. I don't need to play it to verify, which is very nice. I'm gonna just do Command R a few times.
45 bars.
Perfect.
What?
There we go.
40.
So you can see,
What?
you can get very fast.
Track 26. Dark Storm Cloud Top. Track.
One more, and then
What?
we're gonna add a few more elements here. So same kind of deal.
Loop
I'm
off.
gonna make sure the loop is turned off on this.
20.
Let's go to
Se-
17. Actually, you know what?
25 bar.
For this one,
29 bar.
let's go to bar 29 and hit semicolon. There we go. And repeat it a few times.
41 bar.
And part of me kind of likes that
45.
voiceover isn't so chatty, just because it helps with not being distracted by the speech. But also, it would be nice maybe to have some more feedback. Maybe even have some options. I don't know if that can ever happen, but just to kind of keep everyone in the loop as to what Logic is doing, because you're not totally sure if the key commands you're doing are working. Logic is pretty reliable, but even so, it's nice to have that extra feedback. And I know they're working on implementing more of that. They have been over the past few updates. Okay,
1 bar.
so we have a very rough arrangement of the song right now, but it doesn't have any sort of transitions or anything like that. Let's fix that with a sound library that came in 10.5 that I'm actually going to download right now. I'll show you how this works too. So check this out. I'm going to go to the Logic Pro menu in the menu bar.
Menu. Logic Pro X.
I'm going to go down
Key
to the
command.
sound library submenu. Go in here.
Sound library. Submenu. Download essential sounds. Dim.
And there are a few shortcuts. You can download all the sounds that exist for Logic, that sorts of stuff. But what I'm going to do
Open Sound Library Manager.
is I'm going to open the Sound Library Manager, which is a huge
sound-
repository of
sound
a
li-
ton of sounds that come with Logic that you can download from the internet. And there will be new sounds added all the time. In this latest update, Apple didn't explicitly say, but they're kind of implying on their website that there are going to be new sound packs for Logic that are going to be like themed bundles of, different sounds for different styles of music. Hip hop. They've got some techno stuff. That's what we were using so far. Most of the sounds in there were from this techno pack, the oblique structures that came in 10.5. Lots of different styles, but for this, what I'm going to do
Select all uninstalled button.
is I'm going to go into this table
Table.
with all these sounds,
Additional essential sounds and instruments for Logic Pro and main stage. Uncheck.
and what we want
Essential
to go to is this next one here.
sound packs. Unchecked. Check.
Sound packs. I'm going to interact with this
In group.
and expand it. There's a disclosure triangle that you can expand to see more items.
Row to
So I
expand.
did that with VO space again.
Out
I'm
of-
going to go down now.
Chromium fray. Bass house.
And you can see all the different sound packs we've got.
Edges and angles. Future bass. Flex and flow. Chill hip hop. Ghost Beer Latina. Radiate and pop. Oblique structures. Techno. Prismatica. New disco. Skyline heat. Toy box. Transition effects. Unchecked.
So I'm
Checkbox.
going to click on this one. I'm going to
Check.
check it to download it, and then I'm just going to hit install.
Out. Install. Deep. Untitled.
And now we can keep using Logic
Inspect.
while this is downloading. So let's keep, let's process a few of
Application.
these. Oh, actually, there we go. Okay, now it's asking for my password. So I'm going to enter that in.
Logic.
There we go. It was very fast. This is a small pack, but it has a lot of content in it. So,
Install finished.
There we go. It's done. That was quick. So we can go back into the loops browser now.
Smart control.
Like this.
Show high. 87 items.
There we go. And I'm going to clear my search filter
Topper.
that I had in here for a topper. And let's go to this pop-up button to select all the different loop packs.
Menu, Scott, steps, studio, tech house, toy box, transition effects.
There it is.
Transition.
We go in here.
261 items.
With 261 different transitions that we can use. Rises and falls and sweeps and all sorts of fun effects. So let's find a riser. What I'll do is I'm going to search for riser. Whoops. I cannot spell.
R. 82 items.
And there we go. We have 82 different risers to choose from. Let's just audition a few.
Alarms. Almost human riser.
Okay.
Almost.
That could be nice actually for the first part. So I'm going to hit Command C to copy it. And then I'm going to go down to bar 7 because it's 2 bars. And I'm going to hit Command V. And now if I hit play.
6.
There we go. That helps a lot to kind of bridge the gap a little bit. And actually what I'll do for this one,
Inspect.
you can, I'm going to demo this too.
Track 27, almost human riser.
A track stack for this. Sorry, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to rename the track. And to do that, I'm going to hit Shift Return
almost
on the keyboard. I'm going to just call this Risers.
Selection S.
I'm going to hit Return again.
Riser. Track 27, riser.
We are going to copy all of our risers to one track. That way we don't have like 50 tracks with just risers laying around. So I'll show you how to do that.
Smart.
It's a little convoluted, but we'll figure it out.
Inspector.
So let's go back in here and find another one for the next section.
Real loop. Almost human riser 02.
Oh, well, you have a second one.
Almost.
Okay, I don't really want to do that one though.
Almost altered machinery riser 02. Altered.
Ooh, this could be cool.
Beats 32. Name.
This one's long.
Altered.
Cool, this one's 4 bars. I'm gonna hit Command C, and now I'm gonna try this. I don't know if this will work, but we'll give it a shot. I'm gonna go to the track content area.
Tracks contents group.
This is where you see all of your regions for every track in your project.
In tracks content, track 2, track 3, track 20, track 26, Darkstone, track 27, risers, track.
And I'm going to go into this one.
Almost human riser.
I'm going to select this first region. Now, let's see if this will work.
10 bars, 1.
I'm going to go to where
16.
we have the next section.
13 bars, 1.
13 bars. I'm going to hit Command V, and let's see if it pastes it on this track.
Almost.
No, it does not. Okay, it's going to make it hard for us. It's not that difficult, though. What we can do is just go to the track and create it.
Track 20, altered machinery rise.
There we go. I'm going to hit Command X to cut it. There we go.
I'm
going to go back here, and I'm going to hit Command V. There.
Almost human.
Or not. Okay, that's not working either.
Out of tracks.
Let's see.
Track 28.
What could be the problem here?
Track 29, altered machine. Tracks content. It works. Track 20, altered machinery.
We'll try it again. Cut.
Altered. Out of tracks header group.
Oh, maybe cut doesn't work. Let's try copy instead.
Altered.
Okay, that doesn't work either. Why not? Okay. We'll go to the edit menu. Maybe.
Edit. Undo history. Delete. Cut. Copy. Command C.
Okay.
Copy.
We'll try that one more time.
Out tracks. In track 28. Altered machine.
Go back here.
13.
Paste it.
12 bar. Top.
There we go. That worked. I think. Let's find out.
Out tracks. Work. Track. Altered. Out track 30. Altered machinery rise. Track 28. Altered machinery riser 01.
Oh, no, it did not. Okay, it basically made. Oh, I see why. Because the loop browser is open. Okay, so here's what we'll do.
Out of track. In track 20.
I'm learning along with you guys.
Track.
We'll delete a
track 29. Altered. Track 28. Altered. Track 27. Risers.
Okay, there we go. So now I'll hide the loop browser.
Show hide.
There we go.
Track.
Now I'll try this again. I'm gonna hit Command.
12 bar.
Yep. Command X to cut it.
Cut. Track 20.
I'm gonna go back here.
13.
I'm gonna hit paste.
Paste.
There we go.
21.
Now it did it. Perfect.
11.
There you go. Now actually this one is a bit too long.
6 bars.
So let's go to it.
12 bars.
I'm going to make this
Up.
2 times faster. And to do that, I'm going to go into the inspector again.
Expand read alternate
I'm
table.
going to go to the region inspector.
Hyphen.
And this is a good demo of how the parameters are different.
Mute. Loop.
So we have a few of the same things.
Fine tune.
We can transpose the audio now.
Slot. Follow tempo and pitch. Check.
That's important. We kind of want that.
Gain. Minus. More.
So if we go to this more menu,
expand it. Out. More. Delay.
Interact with it and expand it.
Spit. Fade in. Curve. Slot. Fade. Type out. Curve. Reverse. Uncheck. Speed.
You can reverse it.
Pop up.
But this is what we want. We want the speed.
Met 2 times.
We're going to make it 2 times faster.
4 times.
And actually, they seem to have cleaned up the wording in this. Before, it would say a few, funny things.
1/2 times. 1/4 times. 2
Yeah, this makes a little more sense the way they have it worded now. Cool.
2 times.
I just made it 2 times faster. If we hit play,
12.
I'll still look for you. There you go. It's 2 times faster. It ends sooner. Perfect.
7. Top.
Awesome. So we have this now. We have this new riser.
Out.
And so let's find one more
Show. 26 bar.
for
20. 20.
this section here.
25 bar.
So right
80.
when this break happens,
Play loops. Type real loop. Name. Alternate.
we're going to take care of that in a second. Let's find a riser for that.
Cyber sweep riser 02. Cyber. Beats 32. Name.
Okay, this one's
Beats
too long.
16.
Let's try this.
Name. Cyber sweep riser 0.
Cool.
Cyber.
Okay, that works. I'm going to hit Command C. Now let's try this trick. I'm going to hide the loop riser this time.
Track.
And I'm going
Track.
to go
Track.
over to my
Track 20. Out of track 28. Alternate.
riser track. Oh, let me delete this when we don't need this anymore.
Track 27.
And
25.
let's just try hitting paste and see what happens.
Paste.
This is just a
Track 28. Cyber.
test. Okay, that doesn't work, unfortunately. So
Track.
it looks like it will create a new track, whether you want it or not. So all you really have to do there is just hit Command X,
Cut.
go
Track
back,
25 bar.
and paste.
Paste.
There, done.
Track.
And then delete this one.
Track
Perfect. So now we have this riser.
28 bar.
So, but there isn't a beat for it to go, for it to rise from. So let's
Out.
fix that right now.
Tracks.
This is very simple. Let's go
Show.
back into the Techno sound pack that we had. Let me delete my riser filter.
Transition.
And I'll go back here.
Oblique.
There we go.
Oblique.
And now,
Fave.
here's another way you can filter loops.
Genre.
If you
Uncheck.
go
Checkbox.
to
Instrument.
these checkboxes here, you can check them like this.
Check instrument. Checkbox.
And then there is a new column that kind of shows up
Genre. Fave. Musical buttons.
right here. And if you go in here,
In musical
you
buttons.
have a ton of instruments to choose from. Or if you check like the descriptors box, you have some other things to kind of describe the loop. So
Yeah.
let's say we want drums.
All drums.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit Control Option Space to select this.
Check all drums. Check.
Cool. Now,
How
we
do-
have that selected. Now let's go back to the left.
Fave. Descriptors. Genre. Instrument.
And
Tab S.
let's say we
Descript.
want some descriptors for those, right?
Check
I'm going to
this.
select that too.
Fave. Music. Single. Unchecked.
There you go. Now you have some more checkboxes that aren't in that column. It's a little funny the way it's laid out, but it's okay.
Ensemble. Unchecked. Dry. Unchecked. Processed.
You have a ton of
Unchecked.
different
Clean. Distorted.
kind of
Grooving. Unchecked.
Options.
Arrhythmic.
So let's say we want,
Acoustic. Electric. Acoustic. Dim. Unchecked.
and also if there aren't any loops that match that in this pack, the checkboxes will be dimmed to let you know you can't select them.
Melodic. Unchecked. Dissonant. Unchecked. Relaxed. Intense.
So we want some intense drums.
Checking.
Yeah, I want some intense drums.
Part. Fill. Cheerful. Dark.
And
Button.
yeah, let's see what that happens. What happens with that?
132
I'm gonna go to
play
that
in.
table,
Loops
and
in
there's
Techno.
a ton of intense drums.
Artificial.
Okay,
Big.
so let's find
Big.
something kind
Big,
of
big bang. Boom.
funky.
Boom. Chaotic. Chrome. Classic.
Let's see,
Code.
some kind of
Cause dark net. Dark storm cloud beat 02.
let's see. Let's go down
dark
a little
subtra.
bit.
Foreshadow topper 02. Free fall hammer net. Free fall rush beat 01. Free.
Yeah, that could maybe work.
Hammer now beat 02. Hammer.
Let's just see a few more.
Hard.
Oh yeah, that's good work.
Hard.
Cool. So I'm gonna hit Command C again, and we will
24 bar.
put this right here. Perfect.
20.
Let's see if it's long enough.
Top.
Perfect.
Top. Third.
Cool. Let's get a topper in here too.
Hidden Zenith Beat 01. Hidden Zenith Topper 0. Hidden. Hidden Zenith Topper 0. Hidden.
Yeah, that could work.
27 bars. 20 beats. 16 neck.
And I can, I'm just kind of looking
20.
to see how long these are. Perfect.
Hollow Tubes Beat 02.
Cool.
Intricate machine
Let's
beat.
see if there's anything else we can add.
Machine Funk Beat 02. Machine Funk Percup. Machine Funk Topper. Machine Overload Beat. Machine Overload Beat. Machine.
That could be nice, actually. Let's try that.
26 bar.
Just kind of layering stuff in here.
20.
Cool.
20
Nice.
beats. 16 neck.
So let's mix a little bit.
Tracks. Group.
I'm going to hide all these little panes here
Track.
so we have a cleaner
Library.
kind of workspace.
Tracks.
There we
Group.
go.
Out. Tracks. Group. Tracks.
I'm going to go
Track.
into this
Track
area.
28. Hard Knocking Beat 02.
And
Track
let's mix a
27.
few of these
Riser.
beats here.
Track 26. Dark Storm Cloud Top. Track 29. Hidden Zenith.
Let's try this one.
20. Top.
This one's fine, I think.
Top. Track. Top.
This one I want to come down.
Toggle channel. Hit. Or plus.
Let's turn it down.
Minus 9. 20. Minus.
I want it to be a very background element. There we go. Cool.
Track 20.
Now, ooh, here's a cool thing we can also do.
Track 27. Riser.
So this riser here we got.
Lock 20.
This is a fun trick. If you repeat this riser, right, it's going to sound kind of funny right now, because it's just all it's going to do is the same thing again, right?
30.
But if you reverse it, check this out. I'm going to go into the inspector again. There's
Inspect.
also a key command you can use for this.
Expand. Read. Side. Table.
I'm going to go in here and check the reverse box.
Pop up. Hyphen. Gain. Fade.
Check this out.
Top out. Curve. Revert. Uncheck. Check.
Now, if we listen to
25.
the riser, check out what it's going to do.
20.
So the riser's coming up. You see, it kind of reverses into itself, and it sounds a little weird. But with the track, it'll kind of give it a little bit of a sense of like, oh, okay, it's got some resolution. What I'll do though, just to make it a little smoother, is I'm going to crossfade the two regions together, and you can do that really easily. If you hit the left arrow, it'll select the first one that's not reversed.
20.
And you can confirm that by doing shift space like that. Now, if you want to select contiguous regions, I'm not totally sure how to do non-contiguous ones. You can do non-contiguous tracks and non-contiguous almost everything else, it seems, but I'm not sure about regions. I'll experiment and maybe do a video. I'll do a more in-depth video on editing regions, but what we'll do is I'm going to hit shift right arrow.
Uncheck. Check. Uncheck. Check.
Yeah, try that. There we go. So that's selected two regions now. And if you want to confirm that, if you go out of this table and go to the left,
2 selected.
there you go. It tells you 2 selected. Perfect. If I go to the right again,
Table.
check this out. I'm going to go to the fade menu.
Mute. Lip. Hyphen. Trans. Follow. Gain. More. Spit. Fade in. Pop up.
We have fade in, and then if you go to the right,
Slider.
we have a slider that it doesn't say anything right now, but that lets you adjust the time for the fade.
Curve. Slide.
Curve as well.
Fade out. Pop.
We want fade out though. If we go to the right,
Slider.
I'm going to tell this fade out to
Type.
be,
In 10, 20, 30, 50,
I believe
6,
this is
8,
in
1.
milliseconds. Let's say 100 milliseconds, okay?
Out.
Then if I go to the right again,
Type. Out. Pop.
we have a simple fade out right now, but we don't want that.
Menu
Let's
check.
go in here.
X. Crossfade.
We have a few options. We have crossfade,
EQP. Equal power crossfade.
and we have an equal power crossfade.
XS. S curve crossfade.
S curved crossfade. I guess these are different kind of
XS.
curves. I'm not totally sure.
EX.
Let's just go with this first one.
Cap X.
Now, if I hit shift space on these regions, it'll play from the first one that's selected.
24.
Let's see if that transition is smoother. Not really. Let's see if maybe
One,
increasing
one,
the fade out time
one,
will help a little.
30 bars. 20.
Kinda.
One.
Maybe what you have to actually do is not have both of them selected. That might be what's causing the problem. So what I'll do is I'll actually just select the second one.
20.
And
slide.
we'll try that again. So let's
6 type out.
just do that.
60.
Or sorry, actually no, I want
Out.
the first one.
Third. Cap at EQP. Check mark.
Now let's see.
Cap at 20.
Yeah, kinda. It's
Type third.
it's a little choppy, but you know, it won't really make a huge difference in the context of the track. And it might be actually kind of cool. So
70.
I'll just increase that just a little bit here.
2.
Let's just see.
20.
Yeah,
Third.
that'll work. So now,
Out.
if I just
Toggle.
unsolo everything, and we'll go back to the beginning,
1.
well, why don't we take a listen to what we came up with today? All right, here we go.
4.
And there you go. This is the song we made in a
46.
span of, I don't know, maybe 30, 45 minutes or so. And yeah, it's really not too complicated once you kind of get the hang of things. A lot of using Logic is kind of experimenting, trying things. I read the manual a lot, but for me, a lot of it really was just experimenting, kind of learning, how different features worked, watching a lot of YouTube videos, and just kind of going and learning as I go. And tips that I picked up along the way from a lot of really cool people. And part of what I want to do on this channel is share that knowledge with you guys, because I've noticed, over the past few years or so, that there really isn't a centralized location for a lot of this kind of knowledge. There's no getting started course with Logic for blind users that I know of that's free. I'm sure there are some paid ones out there, but let's be honest, if you're spending $200 on a music production application, which is pretty inexpensive in terms of DAWs. That's one of the cheaper options out there, but I know for a lot of blind people who are having issues with employment, that's still a lot of money to spend. So if you're going to spend $200 on Logic and then pay maybe an extra, $50 or $100 for a course just to learn how to use a program that you already paid a good amount of money for, to me, that doesn't seem very fair. So I want to try and make as much content free as I can to help with learning Logic. And I'm not the only one who's doing this. There are a few other people, but I'm trying to kind of do more of the electronic side of things. As we did today, we kind of made a techno song, which is pretty cool. If you guys like this style of video, let me know, and we can do some more kind of making different genres in Logic. That might be kind of cool to do. So we could do like a making a pop song or making a blues song or a funk song or something like that from scratch. That'd be kind of fun. And I hope this kind of showed off a few different features today, like loops, using software instruments, some of the editing. If there's anything you guys want me to go more in depth on, let me know in the comments, because I'm kind of just going by, you know, what I think would be cool to show, but I really want to help anyone who has specific questions in terms of using Logic. You know, what are you struggling with? Let me know, and I will do my best to make a video on it if I can. I am still learning Logic, you know, 4 years later. I've been using it for, actually, you know what, 6 years, because I've been using it since about like late 2014, early 2015 or so. I really started to use it in August of 2015, because that's when the accessibility started to get pretty good, and it's only improved from there. But with each update, there's new features, there are new accessibility improvements, there are new, you know, bug fixes, all this stuff. So it's a constant change. You know, there's a lot of new things that come along, and you know, a $50 course really can't satisfy a lot of that unless the person who made the course is willing to spend the time and effort every single Logic update to try and cover the new features, and then sometimes they'll make you pay more, you know, for you know, more content, which is understandable. You know, people need to get paid, but I think YouTube is probably a better platform, at least for beginners, to start out, to really get a good idea of what the program is capable of. And also, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, there is a 3-month trial. That's right, 3 months of Logic for free from Apple. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. But if you go to Apple's website and you click on Music and then you click on Logic, there is a free trial link right there, right at the top. You can't miss it. And you just click that and it will download immediately to your computer. You can download Logic. It comes with all the sounds, as far as I know, 90 days. So you have no excuse not to try it if you have a Mac. And, you know, that's a really generous offer. I don't know how long that'll last, so I would get on that as soon as possible if I were you. And 10.5 is up there as far as I know, so the trial is there. You can try it out, and then after the 90 days, if you like it, you go into the App Store and buy it, and it's yours forever, and you'll get a ton of updates for free. It's been supported for nearly 7 years now, actually maybe even over 7 years, since July of 2013. That's a long time for a music production app. Most apps will make you update every 2 or 3 years, and they charge sometimes a lot of money for that update. And it's, you know, some of the time it is pretty significant, but, you know, sometimes they will charge you for things that aren't really that major. And Apple has just released innovation after innovation with every single major Logic update since 10.0. So, I mean, come on, like, you can't beat that. And the amount of sounds it comes with is really good. There are definitely improvements that could be made, but you can't argue that it's probably one of the biggest sound libraries to come with a DAW ever. I mean, and the amount of loops and samples and instruments and plugins it comes with is just crazy. Alchemy used to be a $200 purchase all on its own. I believe it was $200, somewhere around there. And now you get it with Logic for free, essentially, if you have Logic, or even with GarageBand, you really get it for free because it comes in GarageBand too. So, I mean, come on, you know, you can't argue with that. So anyway, I hope this has been enjoyable. I'm sorry it was a little disorganized, but I tried to kind of, you know, do as much as I could in the time that we've got. And let me know if there's anything you would like to see on the channel in the future. And until then, I will catch you guys next time.